FPX are starting on defense. Remember, that's the lead that they threw last night against Fnatic. It was an 8-4 lead. They looked really good. And then they went to the statistically favored side, and they weren't able to pull it off. So I really do think FPX need to start off strong on this first half, because OPTIC in the second half should win that out. This is a very key opening half to this series.
It was a tactical start. We needed an overtime. We needed an overtime to get into it, and I'm thankful. For that, we are going to take a quick break here, but don't go anywhere, because after this, OPTIC and FPX will be taking.
Hello. Akankah
Red Bull Campus Clutch is back. Assemble your team and lead it to the World Final.
all in?
Learn more on RedBullCampusClutch.com.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Masters Copenhagen. It's time to
Welcome
find
back
out
to
which
Master
squad
Copenhagen.
will be taking on FPX for a Masters title tomorrow. Let's give a massive welcome to OPTIC Gaming and Fun Plus Phoenix.
Crashes.
Cycle.
Victor. Shell. Finesse. Angel. Yay. Artist. Marv.
Sugetsu. Ini dia yang berbahaya.
Check. Bros.
OPTIC have a huge opportunity to defend their Masters title here, but they have to take down FPX first. They've never beaten an EMEA team before, and my question to you guys is, will the curse be broken today?
Today is a battle of that curse against the script, against history, honestly. Because OPTIC know that they can make it to a finals like this, but they just have never been able to take even a map from a European team.
Note that he didn't answer the question. You asked him
He
straight up, and he dodged
curse
it. He
be
dodged it so
broken
hard.
today? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Ooh!
I agree.
There is just simply no world in which FPX are winning this game 3-0. It's just not going to happen. The teams are too close, they're playing too well, and the map pool is too similar. I just can't see it.
I'm going to counter that with the curse of Sideshow. Because your curse is arguably stronger than any of the other curse out there.
No.
So, I mean, by that metric, Jess, I think FPX have a great chance.
I'm just going to have to remove myself from all of these curses, all of these different areas that you guys are going with, and just say practically here, this is FPX's first international debut on this stage. We expected them before. They've come here and proven they should have been here before. But they're going up against champions. And if they want to be back-to-back champions, this, at the very least, they must overcome.
Well, I do think either way, we're going to get a colossal gigabanger. Right? Watching the players walk out, I was reminded again of how every single matchup is a good one.
Yeah.
Right? You think about the controller matchup, the initiator, like all of it on paper, you look down the line and you go, anybody could win, right? Like their individual roles, anybody can be better than their opponent. And when you have that kind of setup on a stage like that, in front of a crowd like that, it's gonna bang.
And I think that's why form, the individual ability for these players and what they bring today is going to be so important. And when we listen into the communication when OPTIC won Iceland, they were calm, they were focused, they didn't want to cheer even and get the opponents riled up. When they played this tournament so far, they've been at maximum heat. So what kind of OPTIC are we seeing today?
I mean, those big hitters that you were speaking of, the ones that need to step up, the ones that the crowd are cheering for, you know, yay, mobbed artists out there to get to, they're going to have to turn up on Split here. You know, this first map is a bit of a more even ground as you
Bayern FPX map split
and
nya.
we've seen those guys step up. We've seen those guys be heroes for their teams. But Doug, how important do you think it's going to be for these teams to be able to take Split right off the bat?
Again, I really do feel like as you look at map 2, you look at map 3, it all kind of feels like a coin toss. It really does. So it is so important for whichever team to win the series to be able to start off on a strong foot. And again, I go back to the fact that FPX is starting on defense. Last night was not that long ago, and you know you have that in the back of your mind. You ended up losing in overtime after throwing an 8-4 lead. You have to be able to start off strong. And, you know, again, to go back to the counter argument, OPTIC haven't looked great here. They are 2-1 on it, but 2 maps have been overtimes, and one of them was that loss. So it's not like it's a clear favorite either way.
And I think that's why Riot has decided to remove Split, because there are so many overtimes that, like, we will never go home.
Wait, why are we complaining about this?
That's
a
true,
good
but
thing.
maybe it's because we just sit here forever. But I tell you what, one thing I want to highlight before we jump into the agent select is that change over to KJ for the side of FPX, they're not afraid to change even this late in the tournament.
Yeah, we're into the Prime Gaming agent select here. FPX, they're known for making changes. Maybe they bring something new to a match like this, but after yesterday, they do make a change there. Shao has moved on to the Omen.
Oh, I like that. You know what? This is going to sound super biased, but some of the best Astras in the world I've seen play are the likes of APAC players. I haven't really felt like there's been super duper Astra plays in the likes of NA, in the likes of EMEA. I think Marved is not as good as he is on many other controller agents. Like, I think he excels in the likes of Omen and whatnot. So for Shao to take that comfort pick, and their one-ways on Fracture have been perfect for controlling space, why not do that on Split as well? There's so many choke points.
Yeah, one of the things that they're going to be using that Viper specifically for over on the side of FPX is to create pressure over an A ramp. And that's where you're going to see battles happen between Ye and Artist. I think those are going to be mega important. As Sugetsu was on fire last time, though. He may take some of that burden.
I also want to shine a spotlight on Finesse, because when he's calling well, he just dissects Split. It seems like for whatever reason, Split is the map where you see his mid-round calling really come to fruition. And the truth is, he hasn't been as spot on in that mid-round calling. I need to see him turn it on here.
He also lets his brain play rather than his aim. And Angel likes to lean the other way. Angel loves to take these opening fights, and it just depends whether you get the Angel that's going to crush them or the Angel that's going to die first at the beginning of these rounds. That's what I mean when I'm talking about individual form. What player are you gonna, what form are you going to turn up with here today?
It's so funny that you bring that up because we have two completely different leaders. Angel's like, I'll lead from the front, and he's sprinting down long somewhere trying to go for that opening engagement. And Finesse is like, I need to see everything from a bird's eye view. I need to stand back. I need to know what's going on and be there for the utility usage. But what I can say, whether it's the big brains of the team, the big brawn of the team, or just the middle ground, players that make the glue of it, this is going to be an epic matchup in Split. I do agree with Doug here. It is a must-win for one of these teams so that they don't fall behind in the sort of middle ground maps that come Icebox, etc.
I'm so glad you guys brought up the IGLs because they're going to be going up against a head-to-head today. And speaking of the big hitters and the in-game leaders and the people we want to see, Pansy and Hypoc are in the house. Woo! Over to you guys.
Oh man, it feels good to be here, Mike, and honestly, it feels good to have all of you finally in the building with us, and what a game we have.
Bang.
Mike, NAEU, FPX, OPTIC, what more could we ask for here?
Yeah, and the interesting thing is here, the veto is so front-loaded in my eyes. I know the desk have touched on this, but Split, for me, is an FPX must-win, and it needs to start confidently for them.
Let's
4
go.
more seconds and it all starts now. Kicking this lower final off.
Let's
You
go,
got OPTIC on the
OPTIC.
attack and FPX on the defensive side. And this is going to
Semangat
be a
ngap.
marathon, so
Wih,
pace yourself, folks.
Obin.
And Victor already off to a bit of a sprint.
Early control at least, but have to give that up now. Down to 5 HP, will back away. No progress garnered on the back of that. FPX now will drift back into a slight adjustment here, almost anticipating potentially A making some progress towards A. That's Marv's going to shut that down. Shout. The next up on the chopping block, but an exchange here, and Marv will stand his ground.
Yeah, so far OPTIC controlling every side of this map. Patience being shown. You got to respect FPX on this. Get the lay of the land to start with. They once again dabble back in towards middle. You can already see the battle scars on Victory's to kind of peel away.
Bin nggak mau masang bin optik.
Towards the B side feels inevitable for now. The first parts of utility being invested.
I'll be conscious though, Victor. They want to take first contact here in B main, and it's one way going to slow things down.
Angel nunggu situ lagi.
That's huge. Victor
Nice.
one. Angel falls in the sights now, open and available. Artisan Sugetsu are so far away
Woo,
from
let's
the chain.
go.
Good start for the man. But Sugetsu, this guy was good. This might be a little out of reach, but let's see how much damage this one can do. Spike down. One right, one left. First contact found, and yay. Good beginnings.
Aroma iki.
This is a brilliant indicator for OPTIC, and actually you look at the pistol round as a whole, FPX, this is going to be the approach this half. They're going to want to slow things down and just come back to the composition quickly. Xiao on this Omen, it's designed to just kind of get control of some of these early contact points, take it away from OPTIC. And wait out the clock effectively, and yay, a couple of key shots here.
Now, I want to return to the point you said about being front-loaded, so let's kind of build expectation for you, saying this is quite a decent map start in a best-of-5 for OPTIC here. Expectation, do you think this is the one they're going to convert to lean forward, or do you think FPX have that fair 50-50 shot here?
I feel like this does lean more in favor of OPTIC, particularly starting on the attacking side. Sure. This is a great opportunity here for them to... Okay, Xiao. Got better things to say than the Spectre for Victor.
Nggak atasnya nggak panas pasti. Ya iyalah pasti beda. Kan kalau itu kan atasnya panas juga. Kalau pakai itu tadi, kalau pakai apa namanya? Loyang itu nggak panas atasnya. Kalau mau dibikin ini aja. Donat.
The patience being shown again. OPTIC desperate for anyone to step a little over the line. But FPX showing so much reserve here. Damage. And they're testing the waters. This is so tense between these two. And again, great flash comes out. Oh, just goes astray and crashes, polishes it. Angel, no one there really anymore. Crashes and made the cross, and OPTIC have taken over heaven.
Often.
Actually, a gap here. Angel and Zipan set up this crossfire, but OPTIC still happy with 30 seconds left to continue
30 seconds left.
with this slow burn.
It's risky, Mike.
It
it's
is.
30 seconds.
Xiao, if he finds another one, he can really slow things down here.
Hidup
It's gotta be on Xiao, right?
Nggak bisa. Itu aja udah berapa kok 400 sama hasil 500 udah langsung jebret.
And he's just been overwhelmed. Optic unlock the gates. The site now open and the rotation's on the way. 13 seconds. But I don't think anyone can.
Wah, bisa ngeplan nggak ini masalahnya?
There, sure. A paint shell goes in. That ain't bad at all. Crashes doesn't make it away either. This is damage being done. It's down to 3. Angel and Sugetsu looking for opportunity to strike, but yeah, he doesn't like that plan. Controlling by heaven, shot is. It's all on Sugetsu now. 1v3. Any more would be perfection for them. It's not gonna happen. Optic, stabilize and get round 2.
Great damage control as well. That really could have spiraled out of control for Optic, but 3 survived, some weapons carried across. Again, FPX have a pretty good shot here at making something work out this round 2, but so we will have a technical pause. Nice and early on.
Nice and early on. Just for us.
Get out of the way early.
Yeah, we request them. So we do get to kind of like dive into things a little bit more. Oh, the Fnatic fans are starting to cheer for. Nice to see. How we doing, Mystic? Good stuff. Good stuff. Again, though, let's kind of then dive into this, right? Good start for Optic here. 2-0. Top heavy map pool when you're talking about best of 5, because again, it does kind of change balance, I feel. And so far, is this enough of a tick in the box? Like, what stylistically are we seeing already?
I mean, already it's two positives for me in that Optic are happy to approach this slowly. FPX are going to look for these very deep holes and just come back to the composition again. This switch onto Omen, in particular, is to slow down, is to take away some of that early, you know, extremity control in terms of looking towards Yay, potentially towards Victor and Crashies. So it's interesting to see if this trend will continue for Optic, particularly on the buy rounds, maybe even here with a couple of Spectres in the mix, whether or not the pace will pick up a little bit. But early on, yes, these are positive rounds to come away from. And almost actually, it's egging FPX to go on, right? Egging them to get a little more aggressive and go exploring.
Well, we do have that buy coming out in some fashion from FPX. Light armor galore. They haven't really been doing too much damage through these early rounds. And Optic on the bonus system, they pretty much had it. Ain't much to write home about, but through the trend, it should be FPX in this round, but there's certainly weakness in this purchase, so don't think it's over yet.
And trying to deny some of this utility toward Ardis. It will be noted here, at least, actually, we're not going to do a ton of damage onto Crashies. Initially, yeah, FPX have created enough of a presence here to deter Optic away. Yeah, will be noted as well.
Nggak jelas.
This time around, the Sugetsu set up towards Hell here.
Oh iya. Pinggirnya doang yang nggak
damage from this position previously. So look at the attempt with the utility here to dig them out of that spot.
Mati dia.
This could be overwhelming.
Sayang. Aduh, nggak ketahuan.
Sugetsu laying in wait though. Didn't get found initially, and he's still doing damage. Marked overwhelms. And now it's down to Xiao and Angel.
Spike planted.
This buy's gone to pieces, and Angel looking a little rough around the edges here. Not able to find the impact, but Xiao does. Good start on the play back in. A follow-up found. And now the 2v2, but look at what they've got. It's just the Spectre for FNS. It ain't much, but it's close quarters. And he's got Yay by his side. The 1v2 for Xiao, though.
Wow!
Xiao! Bailing him out here. The buy was far from perfect. But Xiao, pretty close to it. The fuse comes in, FPX on the board, but Mike, that was costly.
It was 4 full here, and just talk about the setup here on this round in particular, where Optic have a perfect combination of utility to try and dig out a couple of players from Hell. Doesn't matter though, Xiao with another fantastic round. He's had many this event. Add this 4K to the pile. Well, now that though, FPX is going to be struggling financially. It will be Spectres a Bulldog to offset this, and an awful lot else to work with Optic. On the flip side of that, Yay, actually on the brink of the tour de force as well, so another buffer to the economy here.
It's just not stabilized yet. The buy has always been so back and forth, so FPX getting a little curious.
Ngawur guys, pedes.
3 for Optic on the other side. Xiao, happy to be the headliner. And Angel tries to draw the attention.
Yeah, noted though. A ton of damage.
He certainly does, but it is still always dangerous, but Angel needs to be careful now. Doesn't want to get picked up on his own. And Optic seeming to respect this.
Yeah, not getting caught on the snake bite either, at least during the vulnerable, but he is down to 9 HP. This is... Look as if Optic wants to re-aggress mid again. There's been no pressure towards this position early on, so Zipan and Ardis, full utility almost. ready to contest this.
No underhand flash. No swing on it. Nardis has to try and play this one perfectly. 3 players on the other side progressing closer towards heaven. And again, Zip, he's just got out of there! The timing is divine! Artist comes alive to this round, not a third.
30 seconds.
Half 10%, 3 still standing to get 2 on the hunt. It's feral work from him. 2v3 and FPX on the shutdown so far. Marv, the only one still standing. Well, almost standing. And 20 HP he's got all he's got to work with. And Shao is finding form here, Mike.
It is, and Optic in this round in particular, you feel as if there's going to be a pace change, right? It's stacked up, there's a bit more emphasis towards this A main control, but immediately shut down by Shao adjusting, and like I said, setting up one of these one-ways is to deny this early space, so FPX applying this composition perfectly. This is almost a point now where you think maybe Optic are reconsidering their approach. In this round, not so much really with the purchase. There'll be a tour de force here. A lot more committed this time around. 4 members outside A. There's 3 on the side of FPX though.
Oh, and away we go. Victor just about avoids the first contact, but Artist deals with him and has to back away. 20 HP is all that's remaining, but FPX have shut the door on this already. They've got to rethink their plans on Optic now.
To double up this utility as well. The one way is going to go back up from Shao, but the poison to be there for the cooldown. There's a little bit of space here, but a much deeper hold towards B side on the back of that 3-man setup outside A main. Turret will take contact here for Zipan. Actually, Artist has already preemptively rotated this way.
Yeah, got noted, but still, presence is there. And Optic finding nothing so far. They're desperately trying to find anyone. Overstanding, over peeking, yay. Suppressed, has to back away. Time being born, and it's 50 seconds. Good trade for Marved. But it's still just 3. Hey, FNS and Marv still not being given too many chances. You can see how deep they're holding towards CT. Angel just drifting back and forth. Spike left in the hand, and yay. Testing over towards that A site.
FPX doing really well to mitigate this tour de
Shout's
force as well.
position.
30
Mike,
seconds left.
I mean, this is the be-all and end-all. FNS, if he
spike.
goes down, that's a spike. Lost! There it is, round pretty much done. Shao finding so much value constantly. 20 seconds now. Yeah, and Marv are trying to maybe create safe passage towards A. And they'll punish Angel, sure, but they need so much more. And all they're getting is Shao right now.
10 seconds.
And that's a rifle for Ye.
Have to hold on to it now.
And that's all it's going to be. This has been so good from Shao so far. Like, I know it's been the Shao show, but this has been ridiculously impactful in just these couple of rounds. FPX, 3 standing. Let's move forward.
So I come back to what I said as well. Whether or not this is the point where Optic are maybe reconsidering their approach, and that's why I think we see the timeout so early on, Lauren.
Yeah, it's probably a valuable one to say the least. And again, let's say you've prepped for the FPX that you expected, a little bit of a switch up here and there. How are you able to bounce back on the fly? That is going to be so difficult now.
It is, and you've got 2 very prep-heavy teams here as well. So when there is kind of these variables in game where a team does adjust ever so slightly and maybe holding a little deeper and not using up any of this utility in the early round, it can really throw your game off. I mean, particularly one great example of that is FPX on the attack on split. We know how telegraphed that usually is in what the expectation is with that focus towards mid, but FPX so far at least demonstrating we've got a keen understanding. Like I said, even with the first 2 rounds where Optic did look as if they wanted to approach slowly. I don't think that is the key. For me, it's an opportunity here on split, at least for Optic to come flying out the gates, right? Come out swinging.
You kind of feel like if you want a good best of 5, I feel like that has to be achieved. That's what we're obviously hoping for here. The final's waiting, but it's who joins out of these 2.
I mean, this does kind of fall in line for them here with the null command online. This is a big tool to kind of really be the catalyst in a pace change. So whether or not this will be the round to see it. Looking at the setup right now, it's 3 outside A main, and it's Crashers and Victi outside B main.
I think the crowd has their favorite. An Optic, not afraid to be the villains in this potentially. FPX waiting on the other side. Shao with the operator here.
It's flexed onto this a few times actually. Seeing it more often.
Joined by Artist on that side, so the Geo is pretty deadly. And once again, Optic, similar scenes here, trying to test this ramp presence.
I'm saying initially the default was spread a little thin, but it looks like they might actually stack up here for the null command.
Angel's drifting already. But again, it's that Shao stopping power that could be huge. He's just on the other side to this. How long does he stick around? You can have Artist pop the old. Shao does actually take a lot of damage. It's Artist to deny two. Big impact, but a Shao fell as well. So the site should be potentially open. Look to see where Angel got to, though. He's got to the ground. He's dead and gone. Optic open up the site. Spike now going down. Zipping to get to en route. They've taken over Heaven, but still so far from the site to try and contest anything just yet.
That's taken a ton of damage on the way in. Forced out position by the paint shell. Excellent work from Zipan. Sugetsu now has to find something against Marved. Smoke buying a little bit of time for him though.
It's been so valuable. Zipan's just caught Marved in no man's land.
The
ult popped. Zipan just sending it.
Wow.
Gets crashes, forcing him out of position.
3 lawan 2
The
loh.
investment at that point just to get over the finish line. That's 4 now for FPX. Opt to be recovered. They're looking good here.
Yeah, and it's a brilliant setup as well. Just to put the operator expecting this full investment towards this rush onto A site. The operator just to try and take one away ahead of these smokes. And actually just to note as well, Angel, so unfortunate, but Artist, man, goes huge to find Ye and Victor to slow things down. Eventually getting out, but the follow-up from Zipan, perfect. Brilliantly positioned. Force him out with the paint shell, and again the showstopper. Making it extremely difficult to clutch that one out.
4-2.
Broken by
Ayo, Optic.
A couple of investments.
I mean, this is 4 on the trot now for FPX. Feeling that confidence start to build. Things looking good for them. Optic need to change the narrative somehow here. Find some impact in these rounds. It's been getting close, but again, conversion going FPX's way.
Another adjustment to this mid hold as well. Angel and Zipan now tucked up towards Heaven. Angel actually considering the rotation off. Gets the tucked into backside behind this Killjoy setup.
This could be a nasty punch. Double stack towards Heaven. Angel and Zipan are there, trying to force them away though. And there we go. Utility in place. Sugetsu's still alive. He gets away with murder, taking down Marved, and FPX holding the site. Optic desperately trying to just get close.
Wah, gila
From
hancur.
Sugetsu. Finally taken down, but it's crashes in FNS. It ain't much either. This buy was not pretty at the start, and it's barely done damage. What can Crashies do now? A 1v4. He's got the chance at 1, and it's gone. It's 5 back-to-back for FPX. These boys mean business.
And this is where you're starting to see that the rewards are switching up, and actually particularly the Killjoy. It gives them so many different setups to kind of absorb these hits that we know Optic are going to rely on. It's another example here where you're almost looking at Optic thinking, hey guys, you got to pick up the pace a little bit. They're identifying these key areas at least early on, but there's no pressure towards them. Nobody's really feeling the heat on FPX.
No, and to put them into an uncomfortable position is a tough task. I mean, FPX, I think all of us who've watched their run have been just kind of waiting for it all to go wrong, right? Oh, they only had 4.
Yeah.
Oh, they got a stand-in. They've never played at an international tournament before. It never felt like it was going to line up. And they've just gotten stronger and stronger with every single game, making this stage look like their home. Maybe getting a couple more fans, but for now, Optic on the way. Finally a decent purchase. Finally have some options. Zipan, what are you doing? So dangerous.
Dancing with death.
Honestly, you'd be dancing with the devil fears on the corner, but already we're going to see the pop come in, and it looks like Victor does want to pick up the pace here. Sends it, catch.
Oh,
dapet
lu dia.
One trade in the site is actually open, but there's the KJ ult coming in. Crashes,
Ya
tries to overextend,
ampun.
punished by Angel. Spike trying to be planted though in the meantime.
Wait,
They
what?
want some Sugetsu tries to play forward, and Ye doesn't care for it. This lockdown doesn't get anything, but Artist can only get 1. The 2v2, Angel and Shao. The work back in, and FNS
Nice.
position is gorgeous. And now we know who it is. The Shao Show. Let me clutch this one up. Mobs, cool, calm, and collected up.
Nice.
Does not need even the visuals on it. Denies Shao. And puts Optic back on the board.
A little mishap here with the lockdown.
Udah minum obatnya?
Artist positioning is obviously there to greet the backside of that, but Angel backing away all the way to the bottom stairs means there's no crossfire set up.
Istirahat abis ini tidur.
Zipan does find the kill. The showstopper still deciding that one. It doesn't feel comfortable. Optic kind of squeezed this one through the door.
Yeah, a little bit of nice timing from FNS to find that pressure towards heaven. But yeah, comfort is something that you don't get in these games.
Kartun, Valorant.
Timeout been hit by FPX. I've not necessarily preemptive, but maybe they want to make sure that
Feels
nothing
like
is
a breather,
happening.
yeah.
Just kind of cool off a little, identify maybe what happened that prior round, what we need to do going forward for them. Because so far, I think that they've got a good grip on the game.
I mean, you look at the 2 rounds where Optic have really been able to create some pressure, right? It's been on the back of a showstopper and an ult command. They don't have that in every single round. So these kind of defaulty rounds where Optic is coming in there, they're pushing and poking on one side. I mean, even towards A-main where Xiao's there with an operator, it's a reveal that acts as a deterrent. That's it. They don't want to challenge at all. They drift back elsewhere. FPX read defensively. Angel's constantly just playing in spawn back and forth between both sides. So I want to see a little more commitment from Optic, at least in the early rounds. Maybe throw a body on the line to find that engagement, at least. Yes, if you're going to concede the first step, find the trade on it at least. So the minute, this pressure isn't drawing a rotation, and that's key for FPX. If they can be comfortable sitting this deep, they'll do just that. And they'll have the utility late round to enable that.
Back underway now. First one brought back by Optic. Forcing the timeout. Taking that momentum away from Optic potential.
Bang, udah dikasih spoiler sama Cecep Dudung finalnya FPX versus FPX udah fix. Waduh. Gua megang Optic lagi. Gimana ini Dudung?
The double stack towards heaven. This is already a different look from FPX.
Utility set up towards main as well.
Gua udah terlanjur megang Optic, cuy.
Decides to prioritize with the Cosmic Divide. This is almost the perfect approach here for FPX.
Oh, they've given up the side, but they've kept control on the extremities. It's perfect. The rotations are coming in. Now we do note that the rotations are pretty close, pretty early. I'm still so aware of the chance of someone on the other side. And again, 2 players towards CT.
Nice, nice.
Victor Swift taking down Zip and an Angel.
Woo!
Go on.
Tiba-tiba tinggal satu.
In a blink of an eye, it's just FNS in a 1v2. And it's Artisan to get to. The double, it was over by a ramp. And FNS needs to time this to perfection.
Ya Allah, Optic throwing banget
Burst
sih.
back in, and Sugetsu just gives a wave. The 20-year-old putting up work so far. This is beautiful from FPX.
And that's exactly the sort of round I'm talking about, right? They're almost anticipating this Cosmic Divide execution. The Viper's all there to create a little bit of decay, to allow the Nano Swarms to do as much damage on the way through. It's beautiful when you sit back and watch this. And then the retake. It looks like it's all going wrong. This is with FPX conceding the first 2 kills here, by the way. And still they come through, and it just looks so comfortable for them.
Bahaya ini bencana.
Unbelievable. 6-3 now. And all that potential momentum that maybe Optic were feeling, oh, we got around on the board, okay, a little less pressure, it's right back on you. Instantly, just a weight on the chest, and the purchase is dire. A rifle coming out for Ye, and the rest are on odds and ends. It's rough out here, Mike.
Through, and this is round 10 as well, so a crucial round for
Optic modal Ye, iya cok. Modal Ye doang. Ye mati nih udah.
You can't be doing this, Optic. Don't feed the beast. Zip and Comfort in middle does almost get overwhelmed, but actually gets away with his life. Oh dear. Oh dear.
Ya udah, flawless.
Oh, Xiao is not missing
Oh,
shots.
enggak,
Victor
Victor masih
finally
dapat.
outdoes him, but gonna get to sight. And we need a bit of magic from
Wah.
Victor. And the magic ain't happening. FPX, they're getting confident. They're getting aggressive. They're taking fights in middle. They are making this map look like theirs.
They really are. A brilliant position to be in terms of the ultimates as well. Viper's Pit.
Ya 75 ya 75 ya.
Xiao still got that TP as well. 14 and 6 by the way on this defensive half for Xiao. Insane stuff so far. As even with Angel being 1 and 7, he's barely
Xiao on fire sih.
They haven't needed to rely on him at all.
No, again, you noted it before, that kind of rotation game he's playing, just sitting towards CT, just pendulum swinging back and forth. 7-3 though, the scoreline is looking drastically in favor to FPX. Damage needs to happen, it needs to happen now, be on the back of someone like Ye, whoever it may be. They need to find that spark here. And the ult comes in.
It's something else, and previously with this Tour de Force, FPX did a great job of mitigating that risk, and Viper's Pit completely closing off one lane. It's going to force Ye.
Wah ente di A-nya Sugetsu sama Pan ada ulti lagi.
Mid control if it was to be that B split.
Now the one way comes up as well.
So many layers of obstacles for Optic to try and address. And again, time being bought. We're already at a minute here. And no opportunities for Ye.
This is perfect as well, because Ardis is here with the null command.
Ulti eksekusi.
So if FNS
1,
decides to
2,
send it on the back of his ult,
go.
he gets stopped in his tracks.
And here we go. The both of the old Xiao still there, but he respects it. He backs away slightly and
Ah,
Ardis respects
ya
nothing.
ampun.
Takes down Crashes. Spike gets
Ya
dropped. Drops
ampun.
Jay. The third evades him. FNS still stands, but Xiao already
Wah,
swung
gila.
round to CT. And once again, it's looking like a shutout, but maybe Marv, maybe Victor, maybe one of them could do something.
30 seconds left.
Victor just desperately trying to get in there. Perfect work!
Nice.
Perfect! Read it! Oh,
Low.
Zipan!
With the paint shell?
How? How has he done that? And now Marv, the 1v3. He got the spike though. 15 seconds, he's got to make a miracle out
Udah bang,
of
gak usah diundang fix
10
FPX.
seconds now, he's got to get a run on, he knows it.
Gue
Doesn't
dukungnya
even get the plant on the
OPTIC.
back of this.
Jangan gitu.
Heads on down to the
OPTIC,
side.
cowok.
Plant coming in.
Please.
And FPX not far behind. How much can Marv do? The one-man army has to stand, has to deliver, or it's 8 on the board for FPX and Marv. He's trying to work forward.
Wah,
FPX
di-able,
right to the side.
able.
That's going to be 8, and they look untouchable.
Another perfect example. They just got such great considerations of exactly what OPTIC are going to do. Just on the back of the sound cue, you can see immediately the Viper Spit invested, and they set up for this execution. Like I said, the null command completely taking the bite out of that. What a round from FPX. Oh, what a
30
half
seconds
from
left.
FPX.
Look at this. Pops down the nade. Poor old Victor. What are you meant to do? What are you meant to do about that? Wow. And even the retake coming in, just allowing no room. No chance.
Apa iya?
Smothering. OPTIC. 8-3 now. And OPTIC need a bit of a lifeline in my mind. I mean, you've got the glass rifle. That doesn't even sound right. No armor coming out. Their economy's been shattered. So little impact found here for OPTIC. Starting to sweat a little. The crowd getting louder now. Yay, just falls to Getsu, starts things off. And OPTIC looking for options. And right now they're finding no solutions.
Trying to find the space towards ropes, but another adjustment here from Sugetsu, allowing them to actually progress towards aim, and they've cleared this out now, so FPX gonna have really good knowledge on
Ketahuan lah.
sets up for it. Victor trying to get cheeky with it. We'll find nothing on the other side of this.
No, and again, everything they try and do, there's someone waiting. This time it's Ardis, but it could be Zipan. Marv breaks in. And now, maybe B-side's available, but again, you've still got 2 players here.
Xiao.
Aduh, Xiao.
Everyone is like, please, just not Xiao.
Rata
Take
sih
on
sama
anyone
Xiao.
else. And Xiao waits for the cross. FNS there, they're trying to play together. The timing could be perfect. Bye-bye, bye-bye
gila.
round. Xiao is having an absolute series here. Call it the Xiao show, call it what you want. OPTIC have front row seats to this.
I mean, what a brilliant half. Just to come back to this once again, in the key rounds for OPTIC, how well FPX are set up and how quickly they are to react as well to some of the sound cues or even just this early information. OPTIC never had a chance in this half. They couldn't get comfortable. I'm not just talking about the economy either.
No.
In some of these rounds, they weren't being given the space to set up.
Right, we need to take a second, a pause for thought, because the FPX fans are getting far too wild here, Mike. We're going to head it back over to the desk to break down what they've seen in this first half.
Thank you very much. They're Pansy and Hypog. The EMEA curse, it's in full swing. OPTIC, they're feeling it again. And all of that, I think, comes down
Bang, apa
to
maksud
maybe a lot of
nearly
this,
airport?
comes down to Xiao.
Yeah, there's 3 players playing like stars on FPX. Angel has 1 kill, and then a superstar player in Xiao, who just seems unkillable, untouchable, 350 ACS, 17 kills in 12 rounds.
And the kicker is he somehow always finds himself as the last alive. Right? Like, if he goes down first, okay, maybe OPTIC have a chance, but for whatever reason, Xiao was constantly one of the last ones alive, and you just don't count him out.
And the great thing is that every time they wanted to hit a side, somehow, some way, Xiao knew. Xiao was like, oh, you're going to hit B now? Oh, I'm on B. You want to hit A? I've got an operator waiting for you. I have every single answer that is needed to be able to capitalize. And the multi-kills, the spray transfers, this man is nasty.
Xiao sih tai sih.
well, it's been like, what, 2-3 rounds that she single-handedly has won back. Josh,
Terus
how did they pull that
sangat.
back?
Yeah, that was the
It
one
was
that
Xiao.
Tetap
it was Xiao getting a multi-kill over by screens. And I think one of the big problems here is that the site anchors, and that's Xiao, but also Sugetsu and Ardis, are not being pressured by utility. They're just standing their ground. They're rooted to the floor and still getting multi-kills, not being traded.
I am so worried because we've seen a great defensive half from the side of FPX. Guess what? Guess who else is defensive side? But guess who's attacking sided? FPX on this map. So they're going to go into a side that they always do really well on, and they've already done well on a weaker side that they've shown.
Well, Optic, they won the first pistol, but Pansy and Hypog, they're going to need a lot more if they want to stay in this map.
Yeah, you're certainly right. They do need a lot more. 3 rounds is not a lot to talk about. But on the other side, Xiao, 17-7. This guy is having a career-defining performance here. First time on a stage like this in front of the fans. I mean, it's such a different environment. And he's been unbelievably impactful so far. Now, do you agree with what mostly the desk was saying here? Some of the issues that are presenting for Optic, some of the, I guess, benefits that FPX have, but how does that now translate?
Absolutely. I mean, you're noting it in the first half, rounds where FPX weren't really burning up anything. There was 2 or 3 rounds where, you know, Zipan and Ardis were maybe looking to hold on to mid, but there wasn't anything behind it on the other side from Optic, right? There was no commitment to taking that space at all. It was maybe a boom bot, a smoke, but they were just being forced away, right? And Josh reiterates in that point once again, there was so much late round utility, whether it be off cooldown, whether it be just not used up previously, that FPX can...
Is that a right
some bald dude.
Who's that? Tombiz? Sideshow? No.
Was he falling asleep?
I dare you to blink. I dare you. Ryan!
He's smiling like a thief.
Hey, good man. It's great to actually have a lot of people turning up to this event. Like a lot of people in the community, in the scene, making it out here to Copenhagen. Great to see. But again, I think we need to kind of boil this back because this isn't a best of 3. We're now talking best of 5, right? This is... A lot of people might burn out their expectations on map 1, but you also said this was top heavy, top loaded for Optic. What could this mean going forward?
I'll admit, there have been some... I mean, yes, there's a common denominator in the split history, right? For FPX, and call it the kryptonite, whatever. But there have been some abysmal performances on split from FPX, right? And it comes back to that very, very obvious attack in half, and then the approach to the attack that they have, right? It's so easily punishable. And once teams adapted to that, it became pretty boring to watch, honestly, because it would just be the same thing over and over again. So this is why I was so concerned coming into it. The fact that Optic started on the attack as well, like I said, it's an opportunity for them to set the tone, set the pace, and I don't think that was there in any of those rounds, even from the get-go. Those first 2 rounds were so slow, and it was almost... They were relying on finding out a lot about how FPX were going to play it, but they actually learned nothing from it.
No, absolutely. But again, even outside of this matchup alone, my mind goes to Optic have always struggled with EMEA teams, right? Something that the pre-show was highlighting. And then you look at FPX and you're like, oh, they're the ultimate EMEA team, right?
They are.
Slow, calculated style.
Split is one of their slowest maps.
Exactly. It is so hard to see this matchup.
Tapi ini FPX ngeri, memang agak ngeri banget.
Credit where credit's
due. Splitnya ngeri banget.
Give Optic the win condition that they actually really rely on here on their attack, which is opening engagements. They were able to damage control effectively all 3 lanes on this map so well, time and time again.
And even to add on to that, I don't think this is a Yay problem. I know a lot of people look and say, oh, he's had a bad tournament. It's like, well, again, he's garnered the attention of the entire world of Valorant, argued as one of the best. People will study this guy for hours on end, work out how he works, and you saw it in that game. There was just no opportunities. He'd have to fight 10 times up.
No chance deh.
I heard that CNED strat at one point. Just don't go where CNED is.
Dia ini kerasnya di attacker.
He is struggling to get on the board because honestly, FPX are just not allowing any room for it all.
And there were 2 really clear examples as well when the Tour de Force came in. Those 2 rounds where FPX were just like, cool, okay, we'll sit and spawn. You'll have to shift for it, You're going to have to work for it. And that's why actually with Sugetsu coming onto the Killjoy, and like I said, with Xiao being able to set up these just that little adjustment on a round-by-round basis, Optic had no comfort. They had no setup in terms of the default. They were like, right, this worked actually because we were able to create a little bit of pressure towards A main and then react accordingly off that. There was just none of that from Optic.
Well,
bukan split remote ya? Kagak tau dah.
Speaking of CNED, why? Hello? CNED, I see you.
Speak his name and he appears.
That's some very... Is that WTCN as well? We've got some very talented people in the audience here. Good work.
Kemarin kan main di split lawan Fnatic.
Wait, I mean, he was covered. He was
Come on,
covered.
man.
Covered by the lower third, Mike. All right,
Most
the
is
scoreline was in
desperately
his face.
waving behind the banner like, please.
Please. Don't break my heart, man. Look, I'm a Fnatic fan deep down. I just hide it very well. All right? They love too much. They love too much. And anyway, we love a tech pause here. So how much can we pour over one half? That's the question. Let's now spin on to ice. Right?
There's not much to really pour over for
No,
that.
there really isn't.
It was really flat from OPTIC, and that was disappointing when you see the veto in my eyes.
Sure. No, absolutely. I'm about to head down to the bar at this point.
Icebox.
Icebox, though. That is where we can start talking towards, which is FPX's choice. Now, we have enough first-hand experience of FPX on this map, right? To an extent, and
Mungkin di VCT ini belum karena dari awal split, dari awal VCT pas awal VCT split belum dirimu. Jadi masih tetap dijalanin.
Could it maybe suit them a little better here? Could this work a little bit, you know, I guess more stylistically into their favor?
It definitely could, yes. I'll come back to the point of talking about two very prep-heavy teams, right?
Kalau kemarin lawan Fnatic juga di split kok.
Neither team is going to be anticipating or expecting, and that could be a curveball. That's the only thing I think that actually really benefits FPX in that regard.
Oh, technical pause Victor tadi mouse-nya agak itu nge-lag.
Maybe a curveball very early on.
Kliknya delay.
What is that clutch percentage?
It's pretty unfair, isn't it?
That's actually disgusting. That's surely a typo, right?
That is actually mad. Let's have a little kind of glimpse throughout it, but
Kok kangen
yeah,
liat Binimu ya?
It's one of those where it's like this guy is just, you know, coming alive. Crashies we kind of got to know, right? The expectations already there of what this man can achieve. But then it's like Xiao on the other side. I don't think he characterized this as much online, but coming here, he's become this beast that we'd never met before.
No, I think, and actually, you think about artists talking in that interview, how they feel they've come into their own here on the stage, and there's still more to give. Maybe this is something that Xiao's really kind of ridden the wave on, because he's looked fantastic here, and yes, while he looks solid online, this has been.
Pilih alasan kamu Victor, tahu nggak artinya Victor itu apa?
There's a whole different look to this team, because as I said, I think a lot of us got used to what that side was, what they could produce. You know, maybe the kind of footfalls that they'd run into throughout the tournament, but this has just been the scariest side.
Victor tuh pikiran kotor. Nama Piki kan, Piknya itu dari situ pikiran.
Yeah, for sure. I think it.
Pikinya nggak ada sini. Nggak enak nggak ada Piki itu.
Building momentum here in terms of performance. So the scary thing to consider is, like I said, Sugetsu was just like thrown into.
Emotnya panik nggak? Panik lah, masa enggak? Apa spraynya?
Was really tested in that series versus Guild initially, but he's gone from strength to strength, right? So not just Xiao stepping up here, and Ard is also again a completely different talking point, but there are other factors as FPX team that have really over-delivered here in Copenhagen.
Well, thankfully, we're back in game. Thankfully, we're ready to go
Wah,
again.
ini nih pus-pusannya. Ini ngeri nih.
We love it, you know.
FPX.
9-3 though, we go back in, and we gotta hope here that OPTIC can do a bit of damage, but FPX, look at the pace they already coming in.
Nice crisis. Langsung FPX. FX.
The shot from Sugetsu.
Emang Sugetsu ini anak buah Orochimaru, cok.
And somehow they have a player advantage.
Victor, Yay, and Marv here, all going to stack up towards screens as well. Comfortable setup here. Ardis didn't want to take first contact, but the paint shell going to clear out Sugetsu here.
Yay, good for it. 3v3 now. Ardis on the contact.
Nice Yay. Victor.
Perfect combination.
Not this again.
Oh,
Not again.
Oh no. Angel.
Bocil line up menyerang, guys.
What this man is doing, and it's so deep. The positioning is ridiculous. It's basically in spawn.
Bisa ini bisa tapi.
They have to respect it, but he's got to get a move on. He has to challenge it eventually. Marv, just about alive, flies on in, and Victor's there. OPTIC will get the first and the second half.
Again, it's unfortunate with this setup they're not able to slow down this retake it. And just buy
Bocil line up bahaya, cok.
A little more doable for Angel with the snake bites. What a fantastic opener from Sugetsu though.
Digebuk.
Don't work the same way Crashes does. Shooting blanks. Unlucko.
Big unlucko. 9-4 now. And hey, there's a road back here. We didn't talk about the curse because it's ridiculous.
I mean, there's a bigger curse in this series.
Exactly.
There's
9-3. Oh, good.
Oh, tadi alasan lagi dia. Bos gua mati.
Third
Right, man,
curse.
come on now. Come on now. Okay, Mike, I really want you.
Bocil
break
alasan
down
nih,
that
paus
pistol round.
kayak Filipina
Step by
tuh,
step here.
paus terus.
It's what the people want.
Well, you see they hit A
Right.
pretty quick.
Yeah.
Angel was still
Yang
in the buy
penting
phase.
paperek
30 seconds into that.
final ya guys ya.
Still buying the gun.
Kelas, back.
Didn't work out.
Okay, well
When was
that's
the last time we saw that actually? Was that against Fnatic on when they tried that? I'm pretty sure it was.
great question. Hopefully we get an update as to what's going on. What do we have here? I don't have my glasses on.
Cosplay
That's a nice little
Piki.
segment. 10-10. That's an OPTIC sign. Good work. Any other good signs in the crowd? Because we've got to that point now. We've had one round of a second half in map 1 of a best of 5.
There was a brilliant one yesterday.
Which one?
I heckin' love, and then the lobster spray.
It's
That
good.
was a banger.
That is actually quite good.
I'm hoping that's out there today.
I enjoyed the Shroud one. Like, everyone loves a bit of Shroud, so...
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, there you go.
Are they out there?
There you go.
Nice. Oh, the lights are coming up, so you know they're going to eventually... What do we have? Mike, I don't have my glass. You've got to read it to me.
Happy birthday, Fnatic.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Thanks,
Is
guys.
all of Fnatic?
Every
Is it
single
actually,
person's
were
birthday.
they founded on this day?
Remains battle. Wow.
No, they don't. Oh, it's
Wow.
Marcus. Of course it's Marcus holding up this sign.
Hi,
Yeah.
Marcus.
Wait, why are you not sat next to CNED then?
That's crazy. That's crazy. Any more signs? Oh, here we go. Next load of signs.
I'm lab is free.
Oh, dearie me. Right.
Bahaya kalau udah bocilan penyerang.
Ah, you lot are fun. I like you a great deal. Valorant's been
Su.
Oh,
They didn't like that one.
I think they did. I think
Yeah,
that's
security down to the 4th row.
yeah, so just to keep you up to date, in case you were
Bocil
wondering, 'cause I know a lot of you at home going,
mulai
why is there a
menyerang.
tech wars?
Because we're casting.
There is that. But also maybe one of the PCs is having an issue. They might have to look at potentially replaying that round. So you're stuck with us for an extended time. You know,
Was it Artis's PC that wasn't working? I mean, it could have been. It could have
Don't
been.
say that. Why have you even added that possibility?
Wih ya Allah, cantik banget lukisannya, pengen nyium orangnya.
Buff side, good luck with that one. Yeah, that's bold. That's a bold attempt.
Buff Cyber.
But there's 2 Cypher mains actually sat next to each other in the crowd. That's
Amazing. Amazing. And as we've got to that point now, OPTIC go kill. Very nice. I do believe...
watching the wrong game.
Oh, Michael, that's brutal. We actually might have some content for you because we're running real low. I'm going to start making the audience do, I don't know, things at this point because we are waiting for confirmation. So hopefully we find out what the actual plan is at this point.
TSM, 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 TSM. TSM, TSM, TSM.
2 Sentinels fans that
Anyway,
must be lost.
I do believe we actually have an interview with Finesse that we can run to buy a little bit of time here while we hopefully fix up the issues that are going on the stage. So thank you for your patience. We'll be back in a sec.
Obviously, they played a great game. We knew what they were going to do.
Bu,
The
FSS.
preparation was definitely
Vicky
there from
pasti harus
us. We
start.
knew exactly how they played on all 3 maps. We just weren't able to execute it all on 2 of them. I think if we'd won that bonus round on defense side, we would have had a different game and a different half and potentially a different outcome of the map. But yeah, like I said, we just weren't able to execute as a team today, which is very rare for us.
And the green wall does not relent.
FSS, FSS,
Go back and kind of review our
FSS.
game and then just prep for the next one. Not really worry so much about outcomes. I think that's a part of what's led us to our success so far is we don't really talk about or think about, you know, what happened in the past. We kind of just focus on the game ahead of us. Unlike today, I think if we're able to execute our game plan, which usually ends up being solid anyway, then we'll be able to win.
Well, fortunately, that was a very nice, succinct content piece. Hopefully, we have something
Got
else
any more
to
of
show today. Roll them out, folks, because we are waiting still for an update as to what's going on here. And at this point, I guess we're just going to start hanging out. Folks, how are we doing today? We all right? So-so? Okay. Can I ask a favour of you, Copenhagen? Because I've always wanted to try this. It is kind of gross, so you have to bear with me. Mike, you willing to do this as well?
This sounds like it's all you. If it's
No, I need commitment with this. Mike, you know how to crack your knuckles, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard a crowd do it together?
No.
Okay, so Copenhagen, on the count of 3, do you know what cracking your knuckles is? Give me just like a mediocre response, like a
Asal iya.
Close enough, fantastic. On a count of 3, you know, 1, 2, 3, we're going to do it together, and it sounds absolutely foul, and I just want us to do something, because we are still in a tech break. So, are you willing to do this with me? Fantastic news. All right, Mike, and what do you...
I'm going to do next one.
Okay, fair enough. All right, 1, 2, 3.
I miss her.
Oh, that was quite unpleasant. I like that. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, not heard anything yet, Mike. So we could talk more about the best of 5.
Sad boy nontonnya VCT ya.
Where would we go after
Best
that?
of 5. I thought you meant the last 5 rounds of this.
No, Mike. We are stuck here in what feels like
Freefall.
limbo. Yes. So we have what? Split, Icebox, Bind, Fracture, Haven. Do you think actually now checking back in because I guess the conversation.
Wih, lama
changed.
banget technical
Do you think
pause-nya.
anything has changed your opinion from the start of the day?
Inilah nggak
I know
pakai
you were kinda
Rexus
looking at
sih.
OPTIC, starting off potentially well considering the map pool.
Harusnya
and
pakai
then
Rexus,
potentially
cok.
diverting later. But now seeing how FPX have come out and set the tone, how's that changed your expectation of this potentially going all 5?
Yes, I think for me, FPX, it feels like a must-win on the map 1. So to start off like this, the interesting dynamic is going to be Icebox, right? We had the benefit of seeing at least one appearance versus Guild where OPTIC looked solid, but I think that was probably an over-delivery from Guild, right? In terms of expectations, in terms of, you know, setting up and preparing for that series.
OPTIC menang round 2, bonus round menang lagi, FPX Go menang lagi, FPX by menang lagi. Wah, udah balap sih.
Bind for me, that's just going to be a banger.
Yeah,
like, that's the one that leans into the whole giga banger of this series.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious about Bind as well. I like the idea of it going to Haven because it feels almost poetic, considering I guess what you call it now Mech or Gambit back then, that game that they had on Haven that was so defining of the times.
Angel on the Reyna, right? For map, yeah.
I mean, you know,
yeah.
Reyna lives matter, as the crowd is telling me. Yeah, I kind of just want to see that at this point. Like, going the distance would be fantastic. It's got to be exhausting though. Like again, we have to kind of discuss the fact that these players are humans and they have been playing now best of 5 that leads into a grand final. The prep time alone is going to be so short between this. I guess for the players' sake, you kind of hope it's quick, but for the viewers' sake, I'm kind of hoping we do go all the way. So let's kind of go through where you expect this to lean. So I think it's a fair assessment if you're just talking on paper from what we've seen so far. Split looking pretty likely for FPX here, right? And thank the Lord, I think they are ready to go back into game. Jeez, here we go. Thank you, Copenhagen, for bearing with us, and everyone, of course, at home. 9-4, we dive back in. Hopefully all the issues are resolved. And we kind of remind you of the purchase that we were at. We've got a couple of sheriffs, odds and ends. It ain't pretty for FPX. Obviously, OPTIC on the other side, a far better purchase.
We can see any attempt here from OPTIC to take back this mid space. It's only Victor here with the Bulldogs. He's got to be careful not to give away.
Aduh, Angel baby Angel nggak spot, bahaya.
Angel doing Angel things.
Angel sudah masuk fan.
Actually, there's an opportunity here for Victor to be overwhelmed. And isolate this kill. Actually, Victor wisely backing away.
Victor's reading it right. Kind of sets the pressure. Good timing on the swing.
Waduh, netnya
juga. Does have to relinquish control towards Heaven, noting at least Angel potential on the cross, but it's Zipan on the challenge, not taking any of them down just yet.
Ini bencana.
ZA towards CT and Marv the one to find Shout. So far, so good for OPTIC. Until then, knocking at the door, it's Artisan Angel. In combination with the spike goes down and Marv slips back away towards main. Uncomfortable position to try and deal with FNS.
Waduh.
An Angel.
That's a huge kill.
Controlling the angle so well. And Crashy's clawing this one back.
Damage done though. FPX will find 3 of OPTIC. The Bulldog and the Spectre saved across here. FPX will come into this with an advantage here in terms of the inventory.
Victor beli Jets aja sih. Jadi Ray-4C.
FPX now resort back to a more traditional default. And maybe an attempt here by OPTIC to get very, very early mid control. The back of Crashies and Victor with this flash.
Oh, speaking of Victor, quick with it. Checks down by Sura and then peels away. Sees actually nothing, which tells him a little.
Si Angel lagi ange-angenya, iya. Sao juga tuh.
Yeah, pushing up on the extremity as well. Not overextending, but again, we know what FPX play like. They set that default, they run it into the ground, they try and draw utility
Wah,
across
gila
that,
sih
hopefully, but
sampai
Chelsea
situ
so
dia.
deep here. I mean, if you clear this, you still think someone's around it.
Yeah, he has so much info though, so they can prioritize this now, which is why we see a third member here.
Nice.
That's huge. That's huge. That's a spike back down there. But again, just doing that damage gives away a little bit of intent that maybe FPX were trying to keep close to their chest.
On the back of the first blood, Optic can now play a little slower. Force the hand of FPX.
I got the spike.
Have to try and recover this now. I mean, FNS have rotated towards him.
FPX udah ada di spot tai ini, guys.
But can anyone draw attention away from
Aduh, kok dia megang pisau?
Well, that was swift, maybe not. And FNS checked as well. FPX are just looking so clean.
30 seconds left.
Oh, Victor and Crashies were cut out.
Wah, gila sih timingnya gila FPX terang.
What more can these two do? They're locked out here. This is surely going to be 10, Mike.
Gotta imagine it will be. Still utility to navigate there with, yeah, look at Crashies and Marv both going to try and hold on to these rifles, and one of them being a Bulldog. Try and get this done, but FPX, man, they slow things down on the back of that opening engagement. They actually prioritize their way back to A main. The clearance on Ye is fantastic, but Zipan's swinging heaven from so wide because there's no second player to pressure this entry towards A, and FNS just loses out. FPX find double digits. A comfortable recovery in that round. See here is whether or not Optic have anything really to.
He's pretty torn up. I mean, they can probably get a bit of a vibe, but ain't gonna be pretty coming into this round. And I just love how refined FPX are looking. Everything seems so drilled, you know, crossing the T's, dotting the I's. Everything is looking good. And you can see the gaps in the purchase coming out from Optic.
A judge brought in by Victor. And nowhere near that showstopper either. Ye 2 off the tour de force, and it will be him to pick up the Bulldog. FPX looking fairly invested, committed towards the safe side, execute once again.
And Zipan just happily going to take the space to start with. Forces Crashies into the corner. Has to give away the game a little, but Zipan's still closing the gap, and he's swift to it as well. Ye waiting. Perfect timing!
Ya ampun, ya
FPX taking the
diacak-acak loh.
Optic gonna have to play retake with 3. Bulldog picked up for merely a second. Victor dispatched off.
Sorry, Xiao just TP'd past FNS.
Sure, as you do.
There.
And what are you meant to do with this now, though? Xiao's position is such a problem. Marv has to bail him out here. He's got to be a crowbar into this round. FNS trying to draw out Xiao, pull him into the fight, but FNS has to commit eventually, has to get closer. Good shot towards Artis, but there's too many
Gila sih.
of FPX on the side. It's 11 now for them, and Optic running out of chances on map 1.
Haven't got an important ultimate available here to get to on the lockdown, allowing them with a clean sweep of one of these sites if they opt for it. Ye just desperately trying to do something to support Crashy, but FPX find this space and they almost get themselves into a position where for 3 to 5 seconds they're able to actually wait out, allow that pressure to build and force Ye's hand. He has to try and do something to stop in favor of FPX.
Just feels like they just haven't found an answer throughout this game. This stage is not giving them any comfort here. Even their prior game that they played out, it was pretty swift. It was.
I mean, there's been very few confidence plays from Optic. There's not really been any sort of calculated aggression other than initially we saw a flash down mid, but that was kind of the entirety of the first half. I was feeling exactly the same thing. It was a very, very slow and laboured approach from Optic, which isn't usually the words you use to describe Optic.
It's really not, and that style, FPX will just
final kapan bang? Besok kan tanggal 24.
Play that against them, they'll be so unbothered, and I feel like that's absolutely the case here. But again, how do Optic change that now? You're staring down 11 rounds against you, 11-5. It's such a long road back. Now, again, keep in mind, the vast majority of these rounds have been the pistols. 4 of their 5 rounds have been pistol rounds for Optic. They've only converted 1 gun round. Mike, that's shocking.
It really is. This is going to be another round that actually coming into this. I mean, yeah, look, Marv, a rifle, no armor, light shields across here. 2 Spectres to round things out. Optic looking to make a stand here in round 17.
And finally they take a fight, but look at what makes them. Zipan so quick with it, and FPX happy to brawl. They've got rounds for days.
Well, Optic almost know they have to here. With the lockdown, they know that B main is going to be contested. Ultimately losing out Marv. To make it a little harder, actually, even to slow down this execution. It takes away a lot of utility in the retake as well. Again, telling them what they would do, but there's 3. It looks like they might try and even flash out here, Lauren.
Here we go, underhand flash, and they actually ate a fair bit of it, just giving Sugetsu the easier fight again. Finally, Ye wins it out. But look what's remaining. It's still a 3v2 in favor of FPX. And the ref comes in. Yay, good for it. For Angel needs to find it.
Wow.
Gone correct. A finesse in between them.
Arders will hear this drop, though.
Well, Zipan seems aware of the possibility. And the timing might become a problem now. FNS has to commit to one side of the 2. Draws out the attention of Zipan, but we know that Ardis is on the way. Slowly closing in, and death from above. 12 for FPX now. 5 for OPTIC, and once again, FPX looking so unbothered by this game.
A great discipline as well. They find the opener. They know that actually they have a point of weakness here to exploit. They don't invest the lockdown, and they're even in a better position now. The lockdown, the null command. Perfect to clear out sight. Setting up Angel one off the Viper's bit as well. So if he finds the plant, they can set up an absolute stranglehold here. As if there might be a little bit of focus towards mid here from both sides. OPTIC set up as 3. Nobody on the other side from FPX to greet it though.
Map 1 on the line now. And OPTIC trying to get into things. It's going to be a brawl down in middle. On the other side, Ardis is there. Lockdown coming in as well. And they're going to keep still committing. Mom has to face the music. And nice. Finally, they draw blood. Support on the way, but Angel barely making it there in time. Has to re-clear this, and the fight continues. The battle raging on. Xiao. Oh, it's all falling apart. They finally had an advantage. They had something going in their way. He has to get away. Finds a little bit of safety, but has a little bit of a look here. Where are FPX going? What do they want to do with this when they hit the brakes for a second, reconsider their options? The spike's en route to A.
Still got a possibility here to find favourable timing. FNS finally making his way back through spawn. He'll get there ahead of FPX. He's only on a Spectre, so he has to tuck into sight. He has to play close contact. And FPX have been fantastic for these clearances.
I think Ye's timing could be so good. It could be divine. It could be divine intervention. Ye gonna catch Angel. Solidifying the knowledge that they're probably heading this way. 20 seconds now. FPX running low on time, but they love this. They like playing to those last couple of seconds on the clock. But they got to get going, and FNS is still there as well. Yay! Finding the time to come alive.
Deep pick FSS.
Starting to heat up in this, but Xiao has been godlike. And he is not going to get a chance at it now. Yeah, you're going to catch him in the heels. And give OPTIC one more chance at this.
They cling to life on the back of a 4K from Ye. And the tour de force this time around, we see immediately the null commands popped when they feel that pressure in mid. They can't close it out though. Victor, I think, opens things up here. Yeah, and Ye with the classic finding Zipan. A great play for this reposition is perfect as well. No re-aggress towards mid. Even FNS slipping into sight here. Yeah, you just make sure.
He's trying.
Bisa ya. Aduh, ya ini HWP lagi ya.
But we go back in, and we know how many rounds that FPX have to play with here. And OPTIC, the pace they have to bring.
Unfortunately, I mean, with how the ultimates aligned there, that was their 1 in 6, round, like the snowballing round that they could have potentially sealed the deal here. OPTIC win out massively in that regard. And they're looking to get a little more proactive now. Ye and Marv go exploring outside B. Huge. And it's going to pull this rotation. Victor, very early on. Now actually Ye from bottom mid towards Sushi has mid control.
This is massive for Ye, but he has to hit the shot again, finding impact here. If he has to do it, he'll do it himself. Sugetsu, though, aware of the chance that something's wrong. Someone's behind the wire, and Marv is. Both of them now just frozen in place. Timing's everything to get
Marv nge-push controller, aing cabul.
How much more can Ye do? How many times does he have to deliver in this? But he's in the right place for it. This pinch looks like it's going back towards B.
This could be another 4v5 that FPX flip on the back of that.
30
first
seconds
blood onto
left.
Zipan. Oh, listen, just waiting things out temporarily. Again, the knife going to give away a lot of information to members on site. See how FPX approach now. Forced out perfectly by the utility.
But there's still EA. Finds one. Spammed down. Had to be taken down. Put to bed by Angel. 13 seconds now. Crashes and Evanescent. Angel's watching it. He's watching it. The battle of the IGLs. And Angel wins that out. Crashes now.
Wah, gila kalah aim parah kok.
FPX forced Optic to bend the knee here. 13-6. It was clear cut, Mike.
Really was. It just felt really, really flat from Optic. Like I said, none of the usual win conditions. There's no real flair to any of these rounds. And this aggression that they make look so easy for them. FPX played it out perfectly. This is almost the expectation that you have, right? FPX is just a slow burn, just to basically wear away at their opponent. Wow. It's a beautiful round from Xiao though. The thing is when you have such good grasp on the macro in the game, but then also you have the second layer to that, which is we got 2-3 players potentially that will bail us out of awful situations.
Oh, hands down. I mean, it was... Wyatt from Artist doesn't feel right because he was still putting up numbers, doing his job. But again, Sugetsu was fantastic and the Xiao fantastic. Both of them having a great performance here.
Oh no, Artist in particular, the use of his ultimate, his utility was fantastic. Yeah. In the correct rounds as well, particularly in the first half where you know Ye is going to be the problem maker. He's going to be the one that they have to shut down. So in that regard, Artist playing a very different role here, but did it very well.
Well, look, that's map 1, and it was honestly quite one-sided. It was quite a clear-cut affair for FPX, and if I'm not mistaken, that was Optic's map choice too. So things could be going a little wrong, but again, it's a best of 5. It's a long series now, so do stick around. We'll be back after the break.
I cannot fit in the boxes. Stop it. Quitting was never an option. And you cannot stop it. Nah, you cannot stop it.
Kenyang banget ya. I cannot fit in the boxes. Stop it. Quitting was never an option. And you cannot stop it. Nah, you cannot stop it.
What a fantastic start from FPX. They lead 1-0 in this best of 5 against OPTIC. I'm Yingsu, and I'm back on the desk with a Sideshow Doug. And Jess, that was OPTIC's map pick. This is a serious statement from FPX here.
Yeah, I think it absolutely is. At the same time, it's not necessarily about Split being the best map ever for OPTIC, but the manner in which they won is just dominant. Absolutely dominant. OPTIC won both pistols and lost the map in commanding fashion. That's only happened twice so far in the tournament. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. And imagine if they didn't. What would the round count have been then? What, they win 2 rounds?
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, you're kind of looking down the barrel of an absolute thrashing. Without the pistols, without the second, this is a thrashing, and you kind of have to subtract that, the round count, and turn around and go, FPX, one of their best days on this map, considering we know them to be quite an attacking-sided team on this map recently.
It was Michael on the desk. The guy's very intelligent. He doesn't miss very often. I can personally attest to the fact that Hypoc doesn't miss. On the desk, he said, this feels like a must-win for FPX. And bro, it was not close. No. Right? Like, Shao, you see his plays on your screen right now. Like, he took over at many points in the first half, and come second half, he didn't have to do much else.
Yeah. I know that all of the focus is going to be on the big fraggers for FPX here, but one of my concerns was about Angel, about how often is he going to be taking those fights, and is he going to get punished? He normally averages about 5 opening duels on a map that is this long. He only took 1.
Yep.
And that, even though he's at the bottom of the scoreboard here, this actually means he's not going to be a weakness if he keeps allowing those big hitters on his team to take the first fights.
I mean, FNS, we were speaking about him on the desk. He actually didn't have a bad start at all.
No, not at all. But I think the mid-round calling is what I was curious to see how he would perform in that situation. And the truth is, it was, again, just kind of a stomp across the board.
Yeah, before we move on to map 2, it's time for our aim lab shoot around. And here is a fan here at Masters Copenhagen having a go. I will say, though, there's a lot of aimers, cracked aimers in the crowd. I want to see CNED go up there and have a go. CNED, if you can hear me, I need you to go down there in the aim lab and show everyone how it's done.
Can we still get their crosshair?
Yeah, I'm waiting for the QR code to pop up, and I've got my phone ready, and I'm like, I actually use a crosshair very similar, quite small, you know, little red one, so yeah, shout out to them. They've got a little bit, and looks like their sensitivity was incredibly high there. I think they were a wrist aimer through and through, so yeah, that's impressive.
Maybe we'll see them next year, you know, on one of the Masters. Who knows? Dreams come true. This is where dreams come true. And speaking of dreams, I want to say that all 3 of you were a little bit surprised that we're getting Icebox this early on. Do you feel like this is going to be a bit of a nightmare for either of these teams as we move on to it?
I think we need to go back to remembering that while, yes, OPTIC's pick was split first, the fact that this is a marathon, the fact that it's best of 5, I don't put nearly as much weight in that as I would in other circumstances. If it was best of 3 and OPTIC got pushed around that way, yeah, maybe a little bit more, but the truth is, because it's a best of 5, because we're going to go through so many different maps, and because once you get to this middle area of this of the rotation, it gets a lot more up in the air. It's much more like tossy-uppy.
Tossy-uppy.
Your phrases that you're adding to the dictionary are great. I love it.
Yeah, that's the technical term, I think. Tossy-uppy is a great way of putting it, though, because while this has been a map that OPTIC have started removing, FPX have never been afraid to play it. They're 1-5 in Stage 2. And if you take a look at what FPX have actually been doing, they don't look that bad. They're 1-5, sure, but actually they've got some good ideas, and they've been playing it again and again and again against Fnatic. That's part of the problem. 4 of those games are against Fnatic. Yeah. But they actually had some decent ideas. This was when they played it and they went out to an 8-4 lead, playing aggressively, Ardis looking to take fights over and over again at the beginning of these rounds, and then still finding ways to outplay in the middle of the round. As you can see here, Zipan just neutralizing a win condition for them to go 8-4 up at the half. But the fact of the matter is, they've still gone 1-5 on it, and they ended up losing that. They couldn't close out an 8-4 lead, so I'm not confident about them here, but they might have what it takes.
I like that you've pointed out the fact that there's actually a huge unknown factor. I love stats. I'm the stats girl. I'll rip it any day of the week, but I actually don't think it tells the full story here, and we have to allude to that. The fans have to be aware that whilst OPTIC has banned it, and FPX go, oh, they didn't ban it this time, we can pick it, we can, you know, sweep the rug out from underneath them because they took that risk of banning a set against us. The reason they're able to do that is they're going up against Fnatic, and Fnatic is one of the best Icebox teams in the world. And I almost want to put a little asterisk, a disclaimer at the end of those losses and go, well, you know, if I was ELO rating this, I would actually lower that all the way down as a loss.
I also think that having that much practice against Fnatic is a good thing.
Sure.
Like, if you had, but that's a good thing, right? Because like OPTIC have not been able to play opponents of that caliber on this map.
That is true, but again, I do think it's tossy-uppy, right? Like, yes, FPX have the reps against Fnatic, and it's been suspect, but they've learned a lot. I'm absolutely confident of that. And while Optic may not have that same privilege, their calling card has always been preparation. They know what they're walking into, and maybe even though they knew what they were walking into, that blender may have had him feeling less than great after split. I don't know. I think FPX can go either way.
Well, you guys have seen a lot of great plays already today here at the lower bracket finals, but here are some of the top frags we've seen throughout this entire tournament.
They have to go into this B side. Fair play, he's got that online now. Could potentially help them on the fight here on B. This was the plan last time that he goes up here, but there's a horn instead. Jumping in. Turn around, Sire! Turn around! They are back to back within the site. They have absolutely no idea, but it doesn't seem to matter. Sider's gonna get away with it. A massive misplay. They didn't have the sound.
Against him is so difficult.
Tall order here for Zenfree. 2 flashes to make use of, and FPX playing's pretty split, but Xiao's got first contact on the door.
Lovely.
It's clean. Though.
Oh, it's clean! Unbelievable scenes! 1v3 like that. You don't get often.
Oh, he's dodged it just about. The boom bot not gonna see him. They think this is completely clear. Kesnet, the trigger discipline, well, he's only got the one, the rest are barreling through long, but he's gonna showstopper to catch them on the way. Less in onto Delzik, the advantage now for Loud. The spike recovered, but look who's behind. It's Kesnet again! 4 kills, and he's dropped the spike. Now only less to deal with.
Mano a mano contra Les, la spike tirada.
Yeah! There it is! An ace from Kesnet. This guy just doesn't stop.
Pretty invested towards B main. See this burst on the back of this smoke coming through.
Crashes shoulders. Oh, Crashies! Loud have now given themselves an option, a chance in this. Crashies now turning to the back of the site though. Spots out. One is stunning. And he's looking on the money. Crashies is formidable right now. Let's go! That is how you make a statement.
Good ultimates here for Zertia, but terrible weaponry.
They're not wasting any time, are they? Lockdown's going to be used. Reach into them using that double up trap. It's going to get destroyed, and Fox, he deals with it. The flank coming down. Oh, look at this. Already through, but now the rolling thunder pushes it back. The aggression, the flash. There was a play being made in the aftershock up top, but even an ult of their own. Well, there's a need to end this one here, and now the Cosmic Divide. Dodging, juking, sidestepping in between. It's all up to Fox. Left alone. Can he do it? The reset 1-2 has to reload. Time is on it. What? Oh my God! Pulls out the ace and he keeps them in the map.
I love that trip down memory lane, but also it goes to show how competitive everything that the likes of Kesnet didn't make it to the top 4, top 3 of this tournament.
And he had so many outrageous plays. You think about the last play too, #1 on that top 5, like that was still this tournament. It feels like so long ago, but at the same time, like those are plays that are ingrained in your mind.
Yeah, we're going to send this over to a quick break, but on the back of this, we're going to be heading straight into Agent Select. We see you in a minute.
Acting like feeling obnoxious. Stop it, quitting was never an option. And you cannot stop it, man, you cannot stop it. getting obnoxious. Stop it, stop it. Quitting was never an option. And you cannot stop it. Nah, you cannot stop it.
Welcome back, everyone. We're going to head into the Prime Gaming Agent Select soon, but I wanted to ask you guys a question because, as you mentioned, Sideshow, FPX, they've played Fnatic a bunch of times on Icebox, and they keep changing their stuff. They bring in the Yoru, they take out the Yoru, they want to try everything. What version of that would you like to see today?
I like the play that they were going for previously, where Ardis was taking fast, aggressive fights. They have the Raze in there as well. I think that's going to be the key.
What about you guys?
That's far too civilized. I want Reyna. Give me Reyna.
Just
full chaos.
Angel Reyna?
Yes.
I like that. I like that.
You know what?
choice.
Out of all the chaotic choices we can have, I like it. However, the fact that you brought up the Raze, the fact that they bring the stage...
It's OPTIC that do something a little bit different.
I mean, different and insane. I've only seen one team run the Neon on Icebox. Theoretically, some awesome ways of being able to use the fast lane, but I've just never seen anyone pull it off.
It just feels like the corners are too tight. Like, how do you get enough like effective space? I guess the relay bolts are going to be massive when it comes to clearing all of those corners out. It's going to be interesting to see. But if there's anyone who I feel confident in the Neon at this tournament on like a first map thing, yeah, it'd be Victor.
Oh yeah, and also you know for a fact that Coach Jet has been sat there with his big old bowl of soup, stirring up something new, and he's come out with a new cringe cop.
The cringe soup.
I also wonder why they decided to take Zipan off of the Raze and put him on KO here.
Yeah.
And Angel has not changed. He's staying with the Phase.
Just very different compositions for both teams. I think it takes expectations totally out the window.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing for me now as well is that if you're going to try something, I also am wondering whether they didn't ban the maps to hide this particular strategy, but do you think all along they were just waiting to be able to pull this kind of thing out? Ban, 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 then finally we know at some point we're going to have to play this, and then we pull it out. Let's not pull it out before then. Let's show it right now when we have to.
Yeah.
I like that.
That is the OPTIC special. It's what they did in the finals with Breeze, and now Breeze has just been a mainstay for them in their map pool. This team is not content with having a permaban or any map they're weak on.
I also think it's smart because, like you said, Jess, if they had to play against Fnatic today, they would have had to play Icebox. And also Paper X, they're waiting for them in the grand finals as well. I cannot wait to see how this comp is going to look on the server. Over to you, Pansy and Hypok.
Thank you. Yeah, that Neon is standing out to me. Mike, we've gone into the unknown, right? We're in this whole new realm of expectation. Neon coming out here for OPTIC. It feels a little desperate to a degree, but it's not been a bad look for them.
It's bold. I think that's the way. They do need a big switch up here.
They do.
They need to dig deep and pull out a totally different approach here to Icebox. Maybe this is the key. Again, I'm hoping they've cooked something up and this is going to be really effective. The one thing to counter to that is we know how FPX are going to play. This is one of their most proactive defensive maps. So the way that they play and utilize Ardis in particular on this chamber, that's going to be key to FPX's success.
FPX have been in that dojo against Fnatic throughout EMEA. They have learned by the best, but we're underway in map 2 here. In a lot of finals, OPTIC on the attack this time, and they've cracked out the Neon. Victor, you got to be white hot in this game. A lot on this man's shoulders, and of course FPX forged in the fires against Fnatic here. Not looking so good on paper, but the context is key. We go already. FPX drifting deeper, falling away from the side, maybe posturing for a retake, as already OPTIC are on site themselves. Oh, hello.
Angel finds the opener though.
How did Angel get that?
Will respond. Spike finally now being planted. It's a 4v4, and that first blood immediately countered by Crashies. Ardis just about making his way back across.
You can see all that utility starting to be invested. Crashies forced away. Everything going to play, and the patience from Victor. The double dip though had to go back for Shao. Oh no! Bullets! Oh, but gets bailed out by Mark. And Victor tries to run, but you can't escape Ardis. The 2v2 post plan. It's good from Ye. Now just Sugetsu in the 1v2, but the time's ticking. He ain't got much of it left now. He's got to get a wiggle on. He's got to do something here. And he ain't going to get much out of it. It's a one and done. Yay! Pushes OPTIC over the line. But again, roll your mind back to map 1. All that OPTIC really got were those pistols, Mike. We got to wait for those gun rounds.
Yeah, and we talk about indicators. This is obviously a much quicker approach initially, slowed down by the knife. Again, just suppressing a couple of people ahead of that execution. Yeah, OPTIC have 100% win rate on their opponent's map picks at Copenhagen. That is
ridiculous.
kind of wild, considering.
And I mean, of course my attention was drawn to Victor on this, but also you get to see a little bit more of that kind of purist style of that Artist against Ye as well. The chamber battle is going to be brutal in this. Speaking of, Artist gets warded away this time.
Just misses out on the jump there from the rope. Expect to see him in these positions time and time again. Just dipping his toes for that first blood. So looking to fully commit behind this drone. Actually, a lot of information. And Victor will find the first.
Yeah, Victor going to lean forward and take as much space as feasibly possible. But they know at least there's two around this corner. And how did Victor get that angel of all those targets the furthest away? The spike is on the side. They've got to be a little cautious here. FNS going to have to try and hold the line. He's drifted forward. FNS the madman. Spikes down. Chip damage not coming in. FNS is dangerous. They hold together. And OPTIC playing as that collective. Convert the second.
See here if this is any early advantage that OPTIC can build up, because they need to get on the board after that first map. Like I said, they have to dig deep. This has to be almost a complete overhaul of the approach.
For sure.
Initially, a confident start. And see Victor dig a little deeper now and at least, you know, get back to sort of that comfort level, which is confidently swinging onto sights.
Yeah. It's hard to play that style when you're down a map, but again, marathon game. Victor needs to be taking that charge, and again, I want to see them look strong in the gun rounds. That's what I want to see a competitive game. FPX have proven that. They know what they can do here. And Artist unrelenting. He's still trying to be a problem for them, and Victor have his work cut out this game. Do they get past the first hurdle that would be Artist here? First challenger tell a lie was Zipan. Committed from the site. Rashies has seen enough. Victor's going to try and take that space away, and Artist, well, he's going to be found the whole way through, so has to slip back further here. There is a look, something we've not seen, and Artist ain't going to see again. So good work so far. 5 standing for OPTIC, massive impact. FNS right up the guts there, taking Shao out. Spike going to go down, and these rifles just not coming into the round yet.
Timing perfect for FNS as well. The kill onto Artist, disabling that trap. So now at a very comfortable post plant. Angel and Sugetsu are even going to look to do some damage here. They posted up. And actually losing out this time. Looked sharp for the first two.
Still 3 more to find though. Tall task. Victor heading this one up. Marv by his side though. Angel and Sugetsu working forward. Barrel now noted. Victor fully aware. Marv finds Angel. And it's only down to Sugetsu. He's making a bit of a run for it, but look who's on his heels. Victor does not want this man to get away. And Sugetsu will be forced to fight, and Victor, they're all desperate to get that gun out of his hands. OPTIC, great work. 3 standing rifles coming out of this. This is the OPTIC you needed to see.
As we talked about that stat breakdown at the start of the broadcast as well, this is almost a rarity for OPTIC to convert this 3-0.
Yes.
Something like 13% it was sitting at, so already here, we're in the unknown. A little bit of a solo mission here from Zipan on the first challenge. What was that second shot? Yeah, he's threading the needle onto Artist, and like I said, it was the perfect timing for that kill to open up that mid-lurk for FNS.
And then let's kind of flip this on its head, right? We've got to then look to what this means for FPX. Obviously, they've lost out on the economy quite substantially here. Left down on the pistols, light armors. They're still trying to probe and find out information, but so far, OPTIC just so happy to fight, take all the side control they need. Mid-control being tested this time, though. Angel, Shao, Sugetsu. Looking for this, and Mobbed on the other side. Seemingly so cautious about this. Angel looking to instigate something here, but again, still slowly building towards that A site. Artist. The protocol list is good so far. FNS gonna catch Sugetsu. And that mid-pressure, now relinquished.
Just anticipating something else behind this, but I see a little delay. Zipan and Angel trying to pick up the slack there. Meanwhile, OPTIC got comfortable setup once again on A site. FPX are even going to be given the opportunity to find some consolations here.
Oh, it's a shutdown so far. This is clean work from OPTIC. Exactly what the doctor ordered. See if they can keep the 5 standing. Those 5 rifles, build up their money. Yeah, looking likely. Shao and Zipan now lost 2, just 1. And they only get 1. Marv gonna fall, but the rest stay alive. They're building closer. OPTIC coming out, making a statement now. This is much cleaner. Gotta wait for that buy coming in here for FPX.
I mean, this is crazy though. Marv actually has an ult command, and there are 3 ultimates, 1 away for OPTIC.
It's such a valuable timeout as well. Got to hit the brakes, prepare themselves for this. If they lose this again, it becomes that cycle almost.
This could literally spiral out of control very early on here.
Yeah.
Yes, FPX are in a similar position with the ultimates, but the economy just isn't there for them. It has to be a clean round to get them on the board here. They have to chip away at that early stack that OPTIC have very quickly garnered.
Yeah, what have they been able to identify? What have they worked out so far? How can they put themselves in good positions? We've noted that Artis has been pretty marked so far, had a couple of moments to maybe find some room, but limited impact.
Hasn't had that early round freedom to at least find a comfortable engagement. You can see a couple of times he shut down with the knife where he's not going to just swing out. And I was saying it was a little uncharacteristic to see Zipan on that solo mission to swing behind that, knowing full well there's going to be pressure coming towards Belt. So looking for FPX to really clean things up.
It's easier said than done. The pace coming out from OPTIC has been perfect for what they needed.
This is the perfect thing, right? Expecting FPX to be a little more proactive on the defense, at least in the early round. Victor and Marv are two key stakeholders for OPTIC to really disrupt that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Again, Xiao yet to get off the starting blocks, but that'll be probably rectified soon. That guy's been unreal. Not worried about his performance just yet. But this is the round, this is the big one, this is one that can really make the difference. Operator out for Artis as well, so that could be impactful here. And the rifles obviously remaining, and the money building behind OPTIC. They've got a lot going for their favor. And we go again. This is the buy round that matters. This is the big one now.
Look at the stun as well. Again, these are the sorts of things I'm talking about. Just doesn't give Artis any opportunity to find comfort. Obviously, an adjustment here from FPX. We're struggling on A. Xiao, you go play A, mate.
Bring Xiao over. Probably not a bad call, honestly, after map 1. And Artis sent on that solo site, basically, towards B. You can have Zipan there, kind of in the back lines, but again, it's Ye starting to explore towards middle, and it's just a beheading. Angel, head ripped from his shoulders, and Ye takes space. And that's going to be a rotation issue now. They're going to be so isolated on the sites.
OPTIC freeze, though. Anticipating further aggression. And Xiao to be the one behind this poison orb. No sound cues given away just yet on the side of OPTIC, but soon enough, Sugetsu will be called upon here. Again, he's got this wall to play off from this top position. Everybody stacked up here.
Xiao's coming over though, let's see what Xiao can do about this as well. There's the first contact, it's not clean enough. Victor still stands. Xiao now swings, but the flash is good. He actually gets marked. Victor launches back. Xiao still stands. That's 2 this round. Oh, make it 3. Xiao is unreal right now.
There's the solution.
Impact. There it is. You noted it at the start. Pull Xiao over towards that A site. Switch him away with Artis, and look at what he's done already. Off the starting blocks, 3 critical kills.
Single-handedly as well. The null command coming through, Sugetsu put in a really tough position here, but the first one completely blind. The adjustment here. Find the second, and then FNS desperate to try and find this. And the reinforcements come through. Beautiful stuff from Xiao. And that's how he gets on the board.
Perfect answer. But OPTIC just going right back to business. It's all 5. The ult's going to come out for Sugetsu this time, so that could be stopping this. Where do they go with this now? Answer found. Put Xiao in the right place. OPTIC still looking for chances, but they don't have step towards the rest of the map just yet.
It's good to actually a fairly exposed position inside this Viper pit. Crashies. Oh, he does get spot out there, yeah, but like I said, opportunity here for Ye to spam back through, doesn't find it. Gets away unscathed.
Yeah, 1 and done, and now you see that next net starting to close. Ye! He's found Sugetsu!
Beautiful.
Ult's now down, Aldis watching the cross, connects, FNS falls, Xiao now, called upon again, needs to stay alive, he can't, Marv's taking him down, but it's all on Marv. The 1v3 being closed in on, already noted, marked. He knows he's got trouble, and Angel is that trouble. FPX stabilizing now.
Just about feeling a little more comfortable here. And actually another example where FPX obviously don't feel the benefit of being forced